Good morning, 9:38 on the travel day, the day before Thanksgiving. Are you guys ready to eat some turkey? Dressing, green beans, mashed potatoes, corn. A lot of people eat those casseroles, right? I'm not a big casserole person. But I know they're popular, especially the green bean casserole. That's big, right? Pumpkin pie, though. Do you eat that room temperature or do you heat it up? You make corn ice cream, Carrie? Corn ice cream. Well, that's impressive. Sweet potato ice cream, too. All right. Custard pie, Nikki says, in her house. Les loves that green bean casserole. I get that. It is good. All right. Good morning, everyone. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. I'll stop rambling about food. I'm a little hungry, in case you didn't notice. Welcome to SnowTALK, where we have a chance to look at a long-term setup. I know I'm a little early today. Hey, impressed? And here's the thing. I will be early the next couple of days. So, Carrie, there's your heads up. As we have a lot to cover, two main focal points in the extended will be the system for the weekend and early next week. Those are getting the most attention right now everywhere, and they will continue to evolve and change look and detail. So this is just where we stand as of today. But as we've been alluding to, we're just going to take this one step at a time, right? Fair enough? You ready? I think everyone's ready. I'm trying to give everyone a chance to get the notification and get in so they don't get upset saying, I missed it. What did he say? You guys know this pre-plays back when I'm done, but I get it. There's nothing like capturing a moment live of something that's going to happen. Okay, so here we go. Let's get right into the snowboard. We'll start with that. That's a fair start, right? And we do still have the board lit up for Saturday for the brief period of snow before we go to rain. Still feel very confident this is going to rain. I just don't know how much on the snow part we'll have to deal with, as you'll see in a second on the questions on that. And then we get into next week. It likely will be a Monday night through Wednesday morning type of setup, the way it's just trending, but we'll just put Tuesday as the main target day of that setup. And then I'm adding on now a third item, as we will continue to probably add on an item every few days on the list, the way this pattern is. But rain to snow, I think right now seems to be fair for the 6th to the 9th window into December. More on all of that coming up, but we got a lot in the short term. That wind, oh boy, yeah, you guys have already commented on that. Got a little bit of sun in some areas, but when you're right on the edge of the cloud shield, especially you get some of those stronger wind gusts. Indianapolis has hit 46 miles per hour. Evansville's hit 40, so it's quite strong, and it got out of the gate that way this morning. So already has led to some power outages into wave country this morning. With some of these stronger winds blowing through, and this is not going to change. It's going to be like this all day today. We're not going to see this really ease until we get into later on into this evening. Temperatures obviously have dropped dramatically. We were in the 50s all night until the very last minute when that cold front came through, and then we're down 10 to 15 degrees in many areas. You probably have noticed if you didn't have your furnace on a higher setting, you probably have noticed the house really cooled down at the last minute here this morning. And it's going to be a cold day. I mean, we've got 30s to lower 40s. These numbers, just because the wind flow is so strong, and we're going to have a lot of clouds that will be filling back in areas that are trying to see some clearing, will likely cloud back up. That is going to really fight against any warming today. We may have a very modest 1 or 2 degrees added to these numbers this afternoon, but I don't think they're going to change much. Current gusts global 35 miles per hour, same in Evansville, 38 in Richmond toward EKU. 32 current gusts as you head toward the Northern Kentucky Cincinnati airport. But again, you factor in those temperatures in the upper 30s and lower 40s. It feels like the 20s in some areas, most areas right around the freezing mark is what it feels like outside. Again, these numbers will not change a whole lot for the rest of the day. So make sure you grab the winter coat, the parka. You're going to need it. Cover up those ears and hang on tight to that steering wheel. If you're traveling today to your destination for the holiday, that crosswind will get you. Especially on any north-south road, you will feel it a little more. So I-65, even I-71, a bit of an angle, but you'll likely feel some of that crosswind. I-64, a little different. If you're heading east it may help you in pushing you along. But if you're traveling west, you're going into the wind. So you may actually use more gas today in your travels. Hope that helps you out planning out your budget on this travel day. Anyone traveling today, by the way? Did they want to get it all done? I feel like some got done yesterday based on the traffic map yesterday afternoon. And the traffic, not too bad today. So, I mean, school's out. But I didn't know if many of you are traveling today or waiting until the actual holiday or not. It's going to be breezy, by the way. What'd you say, Sean? It's the shaking your dump truck there. Yeah, hang on tight, Sean. I know you're always on the roads and outside working, so this wind is not the best for you. The wind blew that entire place back and forth. What happened? Did I miss something on the wind? I'll have to go back and check. By the way, your inflatables. Hopefully everyone's got them deflated if you already have everything decorated. I do want to mention, I meant to put this in the show. Let me see if I can find it. Is this it? Maybe. Let me hold on. Oh, there it is. I want to mention too, by the way, guys, I need your photos of the holiday decor. If you're able to send those out to the Wave Weather app for a good photo of the day. I do this every day. Try to most days, depending on the weather, on the 3 o'clock news. And we try to highlight a photo. And this time of year, I love to showcase not only the house decor, whether it's inside or outside, if you're really creative, especially. Videos are fine. And even your photos with pets or the pets with Santa or whatever the case may be. Holiday theme is what I'm looking for. Be creative. That'll get my attention a lot more. But they do show up in the system and get those sent in. Again, the Wave Weather app. Please don't send them on Facebook or email because I probably will miss it. But on the app, I will see it. When you go to Good Photo of the Day, just submit, upload the video or the photo, whatever the case may be, to make sure you shoot video sideways. And I will start selecting more and more in the coming days on the 3 o'clock news. So I appreciate you guys if you're able to send those in. They don't have to be now. If you had a photo last year, it's fine. Just to make sure it's yours. That's all I ask. Okay. Want to make sure you get that in. I'm glad I remember that because that was going to bother me if I would have forgot that today. So keep meaning to bring that up for you all. All right, let's get into the radar because we do actually have a few flurries that are trying to develop into Indiana. And this is not going to be the big headline today, will be the flurries. They'll be very hard to notice because the area is quite dry. But they'll be mainly found in that thicker cloud bank that's located there across Indiana, drifting toward I-71. So if you're heading north on 65 or you're northeast on 71, you may see a few flakes from time to time. But don't panic, no snowstorms on the way today. This is going to be a relatively minor issue. Can your cat be in the photo? Yeah, your cat can be in the photo. You're allowed to do that. Ricky, Freeman Lake Lights down E10. Yeah, get those. And send those pictures in. But doing donations there at the Freeman Lake. Thanks, Ricky, for passing that along. A lot of cool events, a lot of light ups going on. Light up Corydon, Bardstown. Light up Louisville is another week away, but still a lot of light up festivals. So, yeah, everyone that time of the year. Bundle up. It's going to be cold the next several days here, right? And the wider view shows one of the reasons why. It's the storm system in the Great Lakes that is just cranking up that cold wind in Canada, then sending it right into the Ohio River Valley. So it's, again, a stark difference from what we had yesterday from the clouds and drizzle. And now it's just windy as all get out. And it's going to stay breezy until the system moves further away. And that will be very slow to happen. So even though we're going to get an improving sky tomorrow, more in the way of sun on Thanksgiving, better chance for a lot more sun for Black Friday. It will still be breezy all the entire time, especially in the daytime periods, but even at night, a little bit of a cold wind. So if you're going to be out doing some of those late shopping deals, Thanksgiving night, Friday morning, it is going to be blustery. But, I mean, that's part of the season, right? I mean, you're supposed to be dressed up, waiting in line. That's part of the fun. I assume it's fun. I don't know. All right. But in this area, Lake Michigan area, I mean, the lakes this time of year are not frozen over. So you take all this very cold wind and send it over the Great Lakes. I mean, it is an absolute snow globe. In fact, with the wind ramping up, the wind advisories are out just north of Wave Country, by the way. We're close to advisory level here today. I don't think we'll hit that threshold of 40 miles per hour frequent enough to officially classify as an advisory, but we can still touch that limit at times. We're already at 35 miles per hour, so we don't have far to go. But you get into the leeward side here of Lake Michigan. If you look carefully, you can see that mustard color. It's a high wind warning out, and that is coming along with very heavy snow winter storm warning out there on the eastern side of Lake Michigan, heading toward not far from Lansing area. And what is the name of that town? Harbor. Mine's drawn a blank now. Is it Lake Harbor or Harbor Lake? Something like that. I think it's in Michigan. Anyway, look at the UP of Michigan, though. Blizzard warnings out. 60-mile-per-hour winds potentially with snow, heavy snow falling. Now, as a true snow lover, I love snow. I don't know if I would love that. I like snow that's I like heavy snow that falls straight down where you can hear the flakes. You open up the door, you can hear it accumulating. If you can hear the snow accumulating, perfect. That is sound to my ears. But if you walk outside and it's 60-mile-per-hour winds, can't even stand up, can't see anything, your face is frozen, everything's iced up, can't even see the individual flakes because they're going by so fast, that's not exactly fun. I know that seems like, well, that's what you get because you're a snow lover, but I'm still being picky about it. So this is not, I don't know, a good setup for travel, obviously, and for folks getting around. Really messy there into the Great Lakes. And this is going to take a while to wind down. It'll take over the entire holiday weekend, it looks like. But they're going to 1-2 punch because, yeah, they're getting a system now, but the one that's arriving Saturday is a whole separate ordeal. So they'll get another round of snow on top of this. So I would say the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes have a very good chance of having a white Christmas this year, because once we get into this cold setup, it's going to be hard to shake it for the rest of the month into December. There'll be modest warm-ups, but I don't think it's going to be enough to eliminate this. So if you have friends or family into the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes, yeah, they're in good shape for a white Christmas this year. Whether or not we are, not too early to say. All right, there's the wind potential. We already seen this. The speeds have already overachieved on this, which is typically the case, especially in Louisville. We tend to go a little higher with the sensor being in an open area there on the runway, but still, you get the idea. It's staying breezy all day, and even tonight, it will be breezy outside. For Thanksgiving plans, let me do the hourly real quick on that. We're looking at temperatures staying in the 30s all day. Again, we'll have some better opportunities to get some sunshine on Thanksgiving, but there will be some passing clouds at times, so not completely a blue sky yet, but it'll be better looking. May be a slightly better feeling too. The wind a little lower on the speeds tomorrow. All right, then we get into Black Friday. That's when it's going to be even colder. The wind relaxes a little more, so the thermometer has a chance to settle down to lower levels because of that. So now we're looking at a lot of 20s for early in the day, and therefore the afternoon, even though we'll have more sun on Black Friday, the actual highs will be lower than Thanksgiving. So Friday will also be a cold, blustery day. What'd you say, Carrie? As a snow lover, you ever consider living upstate New York? Nope. And I get that a lot. Everyone always says, when you feel like snow so much, move north, move to Alaska. I get that a lot, actually. Since I was like 12, people have been saying that to me. It's different. It's different. When you get snow in the Ohio Valley, especially here in Wave Country, there's a sense of excitement about it, not only in the prediction of it, but also while it's happening. And even afterwards, it's pretty exciting. I get the dangers of snow. Don't get me wrong. I get that it can impact people in a negative way. I'm not ignoring that. I'm talking about the positive side of it, the side that snow lovers really love, and the excitement of it all, especially in the holiday season. So everyone can find positive in something, right? And that's my positive I find in snow. So it's different here. It feels different. It's more an adventure. Up north, it's a Tuesday up north. So it's not as much fun. And when I lived in Charleston, South Carolina, we witnessed the first snowflakes, earliest on record. It was around Thanksgiving, actually. It was a coastal low. I never will forget this because I was the only one that was calling for snow in that TV market. And boy, I got bashed on that one. But it happened. We ended up the first flakes, the earliest in history on record anyway, for Charleston. They had an accumulating light snow that took place. And boy, I tell you what, that was barely even a tenth to a half inch, and they shut down everything. There was no bridge open. Nobody was going anywhere. It wasn't even slick on the roads. It was just the idea that it's falling. No one's going anywhere. So public reaction is obviously very stark north to south. I think we're in a good Goldilocks area. I personally like it here. Okay, so what about this weekend ordeal? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how this looks on the overall theme, and then I'll dive into where we think this is trending. So here's the Euro, and this is the actual run that came in last. They're all fairly similar now, so it's easier to show, which is good. But the low pressure itself, the core of it, is going to be tracking from Kansas over Kansas City and then quickly into areas near the thumb there into the Great Lakes. All right, so as it tracks into Michigan. Now, we'll be on the southern side, which majority of the time, that is obviously the warmer side. And eventually, the warmer air will be the big headline for us. The problem we have with this system for our area is the dry air that's moving in now that will be firmly established Thanksgiving into Black Friday. That dry air is going to be in the leading side of this system. So the question will be then, how much of the system is sacrificed to evaporation? How much is sacrificed to it being a colder profile before the warmer flow, that jet is quite strong moving in Saturday night to flip this over to rain. And this is going to be a fairly quick system. I mean, the amount of moisture, you can even tell by looking at the map, it's not very wide. It's only, I would say, 6 hours, maybe 7, something like that, of it actually crossing through the region. So it doesn't last very long. Moves in, moves out, but it's that leading edge that we got to watch. No doubt, if you're traveling north and northwest, that still looks to be the sweet spot for snow. And that could be central Illinois, central Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowa. They're getting snow out of this current system, but they'll get a lot more with this second one in many spots in the Midwest. So if you're no doubt traveling on 65, 64, and either of those directions there, you're going to run into problems. So make sure to stay close to weather updates in that area. Remember that the weather app itself, the Wave Weather app, will follow you. If you click follow me at the top, it will follow you where you're traveling so that the alerts in that particular community will also trigger on your phone. So, and you'll still get our notifications for the blog. Don't worry, you're not going to miss them, but make sure to click the follow me as you travel. All right. So it moves on by, and then we get into the more of a rain setup as we into Saturday night, as that warm nose should win out, as it typically does in our area. And then we get to perhaps a few flurries at the very end of this early on Sunday as it leaves town, but don't want to play that up. Moisture levels will be dropping significantly at that point. And then we do the same thing. We allow for cold and dry air to drop in behind the system Sunday night into Monday. That then sets the stage for the next system, which will be arriving late Monday into Tuesday. This one's going to be a southern tracker for the low pressure. I do think it's the GFS in particular, I think it's too far south. I think this will trend a little more north in time. So I like what the Euro is doing, to be honest, on this track and its wintry shield, located a little more in the upper portions of the Ohio Valley and along the Ohio River into Ohio. That is, boy, if there's not a classic track to get wintry weather in our area, this is it. This is something you would see in a textbook. So that's why I think it is a system to watch for early next week. So far, very common track that we have in the scenario. And with the help of the previous system, the one that arrives here on Saturday, that is what's feeding this idea. If we didn't have the one on Saturday, this would likely be a thunderstorm setup and warm in the 60s. So you can think the Saturday system, while it may not give you the snow you're probably wanting, it will help you in allowing for the next one to maybe have that sweet deal at play. So there's the Euro for Tuesday morning, and then backlash snow, the deformation band, because the low pressure, typically when you have a low that moves in this area of the country, there's going to be a transfer out to a coastal low that'll be near Nantucket. I think that's likely. So our low pressure will eventually surrender, and this new one on the coast here from New England will take over, and that will be the big headline. And in fact, a lot of your TV stations, national news, everyone's going to be focused more on that part of the forecast, to be honest, than our system, because it's the big cities. So that's usually common. That's why you guys have us to talk about our local stuff and not the East Coast, because that was still the bigger headlines. Okay, that moves on out, and then we stay cold for a while, and we have another system. I think the models are a little too fast on some of these warm-ups here. A little bit of a correction is happening in the data trends every run. So I think we're going to go slow with a warming trend. I think we'll get above freezing. I think we'll get to the point where the next system likely will be rain to start and then dropping down to snow, but that's where the model ends that I can show you. All right, so let me show you what I am seeing in a little more specifics for drawing it out. Saturday morning, I think we'll have snow on the radar into southwest Indiana, Illinois, and likely northwest Kentucky. At this point, dry air is going to be eating away on the leading edge of this. Some of this may not be reaching the ground initially, but that will be your main focal point on the radar, will be that area just west of Wave Country Saturday morning. So if you're heading out to do some tailgating for the Governor's Cup, it's going to be cold, but it should be dry. We get into Saturday afternoon. That is when at some point through that midday and to late afternoon window, a band of snow will likely cross from southwest Indiana over 65 into our eastern counties, northeast counties by the time we into Saturday evening. At the same time, that warm nose will kick in, the low-level jet. It typically happens at night here, and that's where we're going to see temperatures warm enough to change this to a cold rain, but rain nonetheless. So the narrow window of snow is what we're fighting here as we head into Saturday afternoon especially, and to about sunset. So, yes, some parts of the Governor's Cup could have snow falling as the game is evolving. Wouldn't that be interesting? Everyone loves a good football game with snow. They do. It's probably the biggest thing on TV when it happens in Buffalo. And there'll be a lot, I'm sure, of those images this holiday weekend of snow on TV with the games. But this will all be rain early in the day. I didn't draw flurries in the backside because I think it's going to be such a narrow issue and a brief window there for it to happen. And minor, it's not worth really playing up. But you could get a few flakes Sunday as it gets colder once again. So the warm nose is only really Saturday night. It's a matter of what happens in the leading edge. And here's one of the problems I found in the system. Let me show you the sounding. This is near Louisville. And I know there's a lot of stuff here. Ignore all this. Just pay attention to this right here. And this is indicating your profile at the ground level. And then up here is where the planes fly. So green is temperature, that line. And then red is, red is temperature. Green is moisture levels. Well, a couple things to note here. First off, this is Saturday midday. It's got Louisville at 41 degrees, but the dew point is 10. That is very dry air in the lowest layers of the atmosphere. We are certainly saturated where it counts to generate a snowflake. That's locked in. They're touching together. When the red and the green are touching together, you are saturated, and we've got that where it counts to generate snowflakes. They are not touching together, though, at the ground level. There's a gap. That indicates dry air is going to eat away at this. But at the same time, as the moisture layer begins to become more saturated, it will become saturated top down. So this gap will begin to close up as we evolve into Saturday afternoon. When that happens, you take these two numbers you see there. I don't know if you can't see them, but the 41 and the 10, and you bring them close together. So we'll start with dry air, then we wet bulb down, or evaporative cooling takes over, and we end up with a closer profile by Saturday afternoon, roughly around, say, 3 or 4 o'clock. Now it's closer together, and you can see the profile indicator is already coming in with snow that'll be falling, and we're still saturated where it counts in the DGZ. We call that the dendritic growth zone, in case you really wanted to write that down. You can share it at your holiday party if you want. But that's where we start to get into the snow aspect of this. And then the warm nose kicks in, and that begins to push the numbers over on the ground layer where it counts. This layer becomes above freezing, and therefore you're back to rain again, as you can see by the indicator right here. Goes back over to rain, and then that profile starts to dry out as the system is already starting to leave town and taper down a bit there. And we lose the snowflake generation, right? So you can't generate a snowflake with that kind of a profile, that gap where it counts. Remember, they were close together before that, and then they become gapped later. So this is our issue. How long do we stay snow? And that's where we could get into a thumping of snow in some areas. I'm thinking right now, we're not ready to do a snow map on that idea, but if you are in Indiana, southern Indiana especially, and especially west of 65 in southern Indiana, pay attention. You could, and again, I think this will evolve, but I think it's fair to say you can easily get a couple of inches out of this before you go to rain. In Louisville, we could get minor amounts, but I think our window to quickly get to that above freezing level is going to be fairly quick here. And if you're south of 64, even faster. So I think Indiana is the area to watch here as we head into Saturday, and the I-64 into Kentucky, perhaps. I think it will put you in the maybe category. So the thing is, don't get too excited on the snow part. While it'll be pretty to see it fall initially, when we warm up, it'll be a memory in a matter of minutes. So I'm not expecting any travel issues with this just because we warm so rapidly, which will help out on the roads side of things. But at least Saturday afternoon, a little dicey there. We'll see how that plays out on the snow burst that comes in. Carrie, yeah, that's you. So Carrie, you're going to be, we don't have a snow master yet. No one's won the contest yet for the 1-inch snowfall this season for Louisville. But Carrie, we'll give you that that job duty now if you want to report to us what you see. Okay, so at least want to give you a little bit of the science we're looking at for Saturday. That's still the complex setup, and the reason why we can't do a snow map yet, we've got to get this figured out. And I will even say that the NAM model is not as dry of a profile. There's still an evaporative cooling that takes place, so I still think it'll get us to snow, but it does get us quickly back over to rain a lot faster. So the high res data needs to see this setup, and that will matter, and we're not there yet. We really won't be there until maybe at the earliest tomorrow night, more so Friday. We will have a better idea of the profiles and how this will likely play out in the stages of each precipitation type. So hopefully the blog tomorrow will give you a better hint, but certainly on Friday's blog, we should be able to have a snow map out if one is needed. And there may be one needed from part of the area. Okay, so after that, we get into the early week setup for next week. This one, again, I think will be trending north, being a southern system. There could be some freezing rain and sleet. Don't know yet on the profiles. What I just showed you will apply here as well on how the cold layer is stacked up. There will be some dry air on the leading edge of this that may cause evaporative cooling again. That can cool the profile down to where it may eliminate any issue on freezing rain and be just snow or rain. That's possible, but right now we'll just go with the mix idea for late Monday. I think Monday daytime should be fine. I'm talking about late Monday night here. We get into Tuesday. Right now, this is the way it's looking to me. I'm going to go a little further north than what the GFS has. I think the Euro is pretty close to this idea, but typically in these systems, when you see them certainly south and GFS is a south bias, I think it'll trend a little more north. Let's hope it doesn't trend too far north, because then we'll get to have to move these areas even more north on this map, which, boy, that frustrates snow lovers. When you see a snowstorm in Knoxville and then suddenly becomes Indianapolis. How many times does that happen? 80% of the time. So this could still shift, but I think right now we're adjusting already for that idea, and we'll let you know if we need to adjust anymore. I think there'll be a limit, obviously, because the system's going to be moving fairly quick. So it doesn't have a lot of time to stick around. And then as it wraps up, we'll end up with a quieter pattern. All right, here's the matrix. Cameron, you're excited, I know. Here's the matrix for the Saturday snow right here. All low-end mounts. They're fairly filled in, too. So now we can look at the gray, which is under an inch. So this is minor, if this is right, obviously. And this is just for Louisville. So, again, Indiana, you may be a touch higher because you may have a little bit more moisture in the colder air to work with. The Tuesday system is here, the second column. It's very noisy, and there's some blues, yes. So that would indicate some maybe some advisory level type snows in the area. I don't want to say winter storm type of snow yet. I don't know. I don't know how much moisture this is going to have, so it's too early to talk about amounts. We just need to keep this filled in if you really want it to snow, and then we'll look at the colors and the numbers later. But having it very noisy like that is a good sign for snow lovers. And then still noisy down the road, which just, we can't figure out really the days yet or the amounts. It's too early. But when you see it noisy like that in this area, that's a good indicator. That means the profile stays cold. That's what I want you to get from it. And what is interesting is looking at the cold indicators and the teleconnections. We've talked about this a few times. Look at the Arctic Oscillation, the most recent run, again, the circles there, the most recent run trending back toward neutral, if not negative now, after going sky high, leading to a lot of warm indicators in the models the past couple of days, trying to blow torch us. And even the NAO, which indicates a blocking pattern to allow the cold to really sink down. Now that we're past the stratospheric warming type of setup that's going on now, I'll be talking more about that in the coming days here, as it just now hit the 0 mark on its low level this morning. But anyway, we'll get into that in the coming days. But it's the modeling is what I'm trying to say here, starting to correct itself, even on the teleconnections. Everything's adjusting now to the reality of what is happening in the atmosphere. And it's not shocking. There's usually a delay. We talked about this delay that happens. Now we're seeing a little bit of a correction. Will this keep happening? We'll see today and tomorrow and coming days if that correction keeps taking place, or was this update a fluke? We'll find out. I don't think it's a fluke personally. I think it's a trend, but I'm biased. Okay, here we go with the 10-day 40s today. There's the 30s we talked about for the holiday period. And then we'll monitor Saturday carefully with rain, and then the rain should be out of here fairly quick early Sunday, by the way. So it's really Saturday night we're looking at, and then we'll go with a period of snow. And as we get the snow, I do not see us getting above freezing on Tuesday. I think we'll be below that, and maybe a struggle even Wednesday. So there you go. Any questions? Les, do you believe the models may be seeing the more favorable MGO phase as a reason for the correction? Potentially, yes. Sometimes they all talk to each other. Sometimes there's not exactly a handshake between them all. But yes, the MGO going into the phase 8 before weakening is likely an indicator it's driving some of the teleconnections. But good question. Something we'll be watching. Would you say, Wizard, I'd rather have snow than freezing rain? I think we all would agree with that. We would all agree with that. Hey, Les, liking the snow setup for Tuesday in Northern Kentucky. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, right now, along the north of the river, it looks certainly to be a classic zone for snow than south of it. Even though I know some of the modeling is south, I think it will have a little bit more of a northern trend. That's just my gut feeling in this scenario, so we'll see. Any other questions I can answer that will relate to this? Coming back Saturday, Angela. Okay. Angela, be careful Saturday traveling. You'll be going through some of that snow more than likely, especially early in the day. Cameron, please be true. I mean, this is a good setup, guys. I like this. It's going to be very frustrating. I mean, the modeling is going to keep shifting around and adjusting because these systems all have their own personality to them, right? But the science of it all, when it comes to classic scenarios of the warm nose of the low-level jet that we have to fight here, we have to fight the moisture levels and dry air on the leading edge of the systems, and then dynamic cooling plays a role and precipitation rate. They're all different things that we have to look at with each individual system that create a different outcome. But we don't get that data until we get right up on the doorstep of these systems. Now, as we get closer, we start to get hints of it. And that's where we're at here with this 10-day. We're getting hints now of where that data is likely going to lead. And that's allowing us to fine-tune this 10-day a little more. And we'll keep polishing it up in the coming days. Don't be disappointed if you end up on the other side of the coin here and the snow goes a different direction or doesn't appear as heavy as what you would like, or the track changes. Don't be surprised because we're still fine-tuning it, but this is where we stand today. Sometimes you have to smell the rain to see the snow. I like that. Good point. All right, guys, I'm going to run. I got to get ready for the midday show, but at least want to give you guys an update. Again, I'll be on tomorrow morning. It'll be early, so make sure to look for that notification. We'll dive into the data and see where we stand with this setup, especially for Saturday. And obviously, I'll be here on Friday as well with another update. Oh, it's an exciting time, guys. Hang tight and bots.